Hi, everybody. It's Teresa. Happy Wednesday. I wanted to come on here live to talk to you about motivation. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a law enforcement officer wife in sunny Southern California. It's actually not really sunny today, it's a little cloudy, but I am also a health and fitness coach, and I like to talk about certain things that I have gone through and I've overcome. So, for those of you who don't know my story, you'll kind of hear a little bit about it today. But I want to come on here weekly because I want to talk about certain topics that we all struggle with, right? How do we get motivated to work out or eat healthy? And how do we kind of harness that motivation and really get our butts into gear? Like, I know some of you are probably like, if only I was motivated to get up to work out early in the morning, I could do it. So I know that I used to say that, and I want to teach you today that it's really a process, and that motivation is just a little piece of that process, and some could say that it's not even relevant to the process, but I'll kind of explain that in a little bit. But I want to kind of take you back several years so you can kind of hear my story, and maybe you can relate to that. So about, I would say, almost 10 years ago, my husband and I were trying to have a baby. And, we thought it was going to be easy. We're actually married probably 2 years by that point. And we're like, okay, let's start a family. So it wasn't happening the traditional way. And we thought, well, something must be wrong because it shouldn't take this long. It shouldn't be this difficult. So long story short, we actually had to go to a reproductive specialist, and they did a bunch of tests and everything. They kind of poke and prod you a lot and ask a lot of questions. Well, during that process, I actually found out a lot about my own health. So the issue that we were having was that I had PCOS. So when I was ovulating, it just wasn't, going along that process that it's supposed to. And, when the doctor told me kind of some of the things that we needed to do, it really struck me. It was a very emotional time, because you're kind of like, wow, this is something that we really want. And I felt like it was all my fault. So I kind of went through a lot of an emotional roller coaster. But, they also told me that I was pre-diabetic and a bunch of other stuff. And they said, well, you have to change your diet and you have to do all this other stuff, right? So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I was motivated, right? So how many of you can relate to this? Like, you go to the doctor and they tell you, you have to change your diet because I'm going to have to put you on, blood pressure medication or cholesterol medication or whatever. Like, you're like, okay, now I'm motivated. I do not want to get on meds. I'm doing this. So you try everything you can and you're motivated to do it, right? So that's kind of what happened. We started making changes, and I started to, eat a little healthier as much as I knew. At the time, I know a lot more now, but at the time, what I knew, I started to make changes, and I was motivated to do it. So, we still ended up not being able to do it on our own, and we had to go through fertility. But that's something that kind of got me to get moving, right? To make some changes. So that's kind of what we think about motivation, right? We think it's something that kind of triggers us to do whatever it is that we want to do. Now, the problem with motivation is that it's kind of an external thing. So you're kind of waiting for either someone or something to make you do something. So you're probably thinking, oh, well, if only I had more time, I would work out. Or if only I had more money, I would buy healthier foods. I would go organic or whatever that may be. So you're just looking for that external source to motivate you to do something. And really, we're kind of going at it the wrong way. because you're kind of waiting for the perfect time, and you know the perfect time is not going to happen. So it's kind of like we're putting too much weight into motivation, and we're kind of like waiting for like all the stars to align, and we're kind of waiting for like that one moment where we're like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm super motivated and pumped, and I'm going to do this, whatever that may be. And it may or may not happen. And the thing is that you kind of lose control of that situation. And you want to have control over that because you don't want to depend on someone else or depend on something else to get you to do something that you know you need to do, right? So, like I said, you're putting way too much weight on that. So, what do? So you want to have more control, right? So you have to look for something inside. So you have to look for an internal source to get you to do something. So I think that experience, with infertility and, talking to the doctor and everything, there was motivation, external motivation, because a doctor was actually telling me that I needed to change. But there was also like something internally, like with my emotions, because we wanted to have a baby, and there was that desire to start a family. So that kind of came internally. So that's kind of like a why, like a reason why, a deep reason why I wanted to do that, and why we wanted to kind of work together as a team to make that happen. So that is more inspiration. So you're talking about within, and it's a deep reason why you want to do something. So rather than trying to depend on motivation to get you to get up really early in the morning before work to do a workout, try and kind of sit down and really think about why it is that you want to do it. And you want to think about it as more of an emotion or a feeling. How are you going to feel if you start working out in the morning? So don't think about it as a negative where you're going to be losing sleep. Think about it, how much more energy am I going to have during the day? And what is that going to do if I do it consistently? I might lose the weight that I want to lose, whatever that may be. So when I was talking about the process, so motivation might be kind of like the first step, or inspiration, which is what we want to think about it as. And like the ultimate thing is a habit. You want to develop a habit where you don't even have to think about waking up early. You just do it because now, you've been doing it for a long time. You know how good it feels, and you know how much energy you have during the day, and you lost the weight that you wanted to lose, and you got in shape and everything. So now it's kind of like you did that, and the ultimate thing is to have it as a habit. Now there's something in between, which is discipline, right? We have to actually do that thing to get us to start developing habits. Now, that's the hard part, right? Because it's really hard to do something consistently over time to get you to that point. So when you're thinking about your deep reason why, so really kind of like to jumpstart you is getting you to think about that deep reason why you want to do something. But then you want to come up with a plan, because you can't get disciplined without a plan. Like it can't just be like this random thing. You have to have a specific plan to make sure that you're disciplined with it every single day. So, and really it's just about the thought process. Like there is a thought process in discipline, because you have to, it doesn't come naturally. You still kind of have to think about it. You're like, well, if I hit the snooze button just one more time, I'll still have a little bit of time to do X, Y, Z. So there's still a thought process there, but you want to get to that ultimate habit where there is no thought process. You don't even have to think about it. Like, think about it as like brushing your teeth. Like, do you think about, oh, do I really want to brush my teeth today? Probably not, right? You're probably like, okay, oh my God, I didn't brush my teeth. Let me go back home and brush my teeth or whatever. So that's where you want to get. But to get there, you have to go through the discipline, right? And, discipline can kind of, people think of it as a negative because it's like you're sacrificing something. And in most cases, you are sacrificing something, because when you're thinking about, okay, I need to get disciplined at something, and you're creating a plan, you're like, okay, I'm looking at my day and I want to get disciplined at getting up early in the morning before work, so I can get in a workout, so I can do something, or so I can go to the gym and have enough time to work out and then get ready and go to work. So there's that plan, and you do have to sacrifice something. So maybe the sacrifice is going to be that you're going to have to go to sleep earlier. So that could be you're cutting out, the time where you're unwinding, right? So that's why it kind of starts to feel like a negative, because you're like, man, I'm taking away something that I look forward to every single day, so that I can start doing this thing where I may not see the results for a long time. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's a positive. So you want to think of it as something where it is hard to think about the long-term results. But when you're planning it out, you want to make sure that you kind of stick in rewards in between there. So how are you going to reward yourself if you got up early, you went to sleep early, and you got up early to, go to the gym and work out for, 4 or 5 days in a row? Like, how good would you feel? But also, like, how are you going to reward yourself? So just think about that. And you don't want to reward yourself with food, because then you're kind of going to start another bad habit. But unless it's like broccoli, I don't know, but who's going to do that, right? But you want to make sure that you do have that. So when you have that plan to get disciplined, you want to make sure that you throw in some rewards, because otherwise, it's just going to be something that you're going to start and then stop again. And it's just that vicious cycle. So later on, so fast forward after that, that experience with, having trouble conceiving. Now I had 2 kids at home. They were toddlers. I was working full time, and my husband and I had the dad bod and the mom bod, and we were tired, and we're like, oh man, we got to make a change. But we were busy, we're working full time, and the kids were, taking a lot out of us. So, there was like another kind of point in our lives where we were coming back to this health thing, where we're like, okay, there's something that we have to do. We have to make some changes. We have to start eating healthy. We may have to start planning our meals so we can take them to work. So I wasn't motivated. I wanted to do it. I wanted to make a change, but I really wasn't motivated to come home, then, make dinner, then either go to the gym if my husband was home, because he had to stay home with the kids, or if, he was working, I just wasn't motivated to do it after having a long day at work and then struggling with the kids to go to bed. And most of the time, like, they obviously didn't want to go to bed. So, there was that other point where I had to really think about it. And I think like that period of time was when we really, got used to the thought of getting more discipline. And because we, at that time, got a plan and we had kind of a system that we kind of plugged into, then the discipline became a little bit easier. Now, I naturally am not a very disciplined person. I actually was doing this for a long time, where I would come home and then I would put the kids down, and then I would start doing a workout at home, because that was the easiest way to do it. But it was hard because I was tired, right? So, you're tired, and the last thing you want to do is make yourself more tired. And that was my thought. Like, I was going to be more tired. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to wake up early before work to work out, because I thought that's probably the only way that I'll be able to do this more long term, because I just can't do this anymore. So that was going to mean that because I had to leave the house at 5:15 a.m., I was going to have to wake up at 0:30 to work out. So that was not something that I was looking forward to either. But I really knew that I needed to do it. So I kind of forced myself to do it. And that's another part of discipline where you kind of force yourself to do it. So I started to do that. And I was like, man, this sucks. Because, you're like, man, it's still dark and it's still going to be dark for probably another 3 hours. And I'm getting up to work out. So, but at that time I was like thinking about it very negatively. And, but I was like, no, I have to do it. So I got disciplined. To start doing it every day. So it took, actually about a couple weeks of doing it consistently, because you got to do it consistently. You can't do it like one day and then two days later you do it again, and then 3 days, and then it's like, it has to be consistent. And I had a plan. So it was better for me because I didn't have to think about it. So I was like moving towards a habit where you're trying to take that thought process out of the way. So I started to do it. So it took about a couple of weeks, and I started to notice a few things. One, I actually had more energy during the day. And I was at work and I had a desk job. So I was, for the most part, I was in front of the computer all day long. So that makes you even more tired, right? But I felt like I had more energy, and it actually kind of made me get up and move more because I had more energy. So I was like, that's really weird. But now it makes sense because you start to rev up, your energy in the morning when you're doing a workout. So it kind of like lasts you throughout the day. Not all day, but because it actually is a process. And like, I won't go into like everything that really happens because it's like chemical reactions and hormones and everything like that. So it's actually really good to work out in the morning because it makes you tired when you're supposed to be tired at night. And of course, these are for people who are normal, have a normal schedule, and wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night. So shift workers, it's a lot more difficult, but for someone like me, it worked out. So I started to notice and started to see the benefits that I didn't think I was going to have about waking up early in the morning. So this was probably about 2.5 years ago. So I started to do that 2.5 years ago. I no longer work outside of the home. I work from home. I still wake up early to get in a workout because I know that I am going to have a lot more energy during the day. It sets me up, like my mind and everything, it sets me up for just a really good day. Plus, it helps me deal with the kids, getting them up, ready for school, and all of that stuff. So I found the benefits to that, and even kind of became the reward. So I didn't even have to have those external rewards to make me do it. Now, is it a habit now? No, it's still not a habit. I still hit the snooze button every once in a while, but for the most part, I do get up early to work out. So it's getting to the habit, and I don't know if it's always going to be, or if it's going to get to a habit, but I'm definitely disciplined to do it. Now, what is it that you guys want to work on? Is it something like working out, getting a workout early in the morning, or is it creating meals so that you can have healthy food when you go to work or throughout the day? What is it that you guys are kind of struggling with? Heather says, usually do it late at night when everyone is in bed, but then I start to flake. I need to just wake up early. Yeah, and I mean, I did that for a long time, and it actually worked. It worked, but I wanted something different. I knew that there was a better way. So just try it. I mean, I know it's hard. I mean, if it wasn't hard, everybody would do it, right? So this is, that point where you think about how important is it for you? Like, how important? Think about that deep reason why and find that inspiration, to get you to do it. All right. So I hope that helps, guys. I know it's kind of, it's just kind of a different way to think about it. So I want you to do one thing. I want you guys to not say, oh, I'm not motivated to do blank. Don't say that anymore. Just think about what I talked about today and think about how important is it for you, and think of that deep reason why you want to do it, and then start. Because actually, if you really think about motivation, it's going to happen after the fact. It's not going to happen before. So take more control and have that inspiration to actually do it. Jennifer says she struggles with making meals where she's not eating the same things all the time. Oh yeah. And Jennifer, you have a plan, and there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of recipes, and we can definitely work on that. I know how you feel, because I know that, when I was thinking about, eating healthy and everything, and I think I posted about this, is chicken and broccoli. And I hear that from other people too. They're like, I don't know how much chicken and broccoli I can have. But healthy eating is not just chicken and broccoli. In fact, you probably shouldn't eat chicken and broccoli. It would probably be bloated all the time. So, but there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it just takes time. It takes practice. So you needed to hear that today, Tammy. Oh, well, good. Thanks. I'm glad that has helped, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Like I said last week, I don't know if you caught my live thing, whatever you call it, about confidence, but I want to do this every Wednesday. And I think next Wednesday, I already have something in mind. I might have a little guest with me. So if there is a specific topic you guys want to talk about, please comment below, or just send me, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just send me a message and let me know, what you want me to talk about, and I'll be happy to do that. And if you guys need help with fitness or nutrition or anything like that, I have groups that I hold that can help you with that. So if you have specific goals or anything like that, please reach out to me. You can message me, or send me a friend request, whatever that may be, and we can chat, and I'd be happy to help you. So have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. All right, bye.